I'm telling you, when you take these steps in your life, the food addiction, the addiction to people, look, why did I incorporate resentment into this? Because resentment is the number one offender. Again, if you're upset today, it has to do with people 99% of the time. It has to do with your relationship with people. But through this amazing grace, a higher consciousness, we get out of that. We can be joyous and happy. We can be, it says on page, I think 153 in our big book, it says, he walked out of the hospital a free man, right? In a vision for you. He says, I walked out of the hospital, it's 153. I walked out of the hospital a free man, he says, right? We could right now walk out of this imprisonment we have to our addictions, to people. We can be joyful and happy. When we can observe the world around us and become part of it. But the real joy and happiness is in here. It's in here. It's not in this big plate of food. It's not in the alcohol. It's not something from outside. That's momentary pleasure. Every pleasure, even money, even success. It's harder for a rich person to get this program because they're say, I got $1 million, I want 2. I got a promotion at work, I want 3. I got this big plate of food. If I eat 10 plates of food, I'll be happy. But when we have this God consciousness, it overrides all of this. And then we can push it away like from a hot stove because we have something better. We stop fighting anyone or anything. We've been put into a position of neutrality, right? Not even having to swear it off. I don't have to swear my resentment towards people off. I don't have to think differently. It just comes to me. And it says that it just comes to us. We don't have to work at it anymore. It's just gone. We have like the sick man prayer talks about that. But anyway, your addiction to the food, it's all here in the steps. Answer to all our problems. Why does it say in Bill's story on page 13, the answer to all our problems? And then I'll get some more shares because I just want to set everybody up. We always say it. We want everybody to have a spiritual awakening by the end of the meeting. So please hurry up and have it, right? So anyway, on page 15, here it is. Bill had that spiritual awakening. This is after he goes through the steps. What does Bill say? On page 15, for all you big book thumpers out there, I know I'm one of them, on the bottom of page 15, I'm so glad at this meeting we could do that. You know how many meetings I used to go to? They weren't so sharp on, they didn't want you to talk about that big book too much, They say if you want to hide something from an alcoholic, compulsive overeater, put it in the big book, okay? The joy of living, listen to this. The joy of living we even have under pressure and difficulty. It also says in our book, Meeting Calamity with Serenity. It's saying the more calamity I have in my life, the more serenity I could have. The more obsession you have with food, the closer it's going to bring you to these steps. Be joyful and happy. Don't get into remorse and guilt, even if you had a ton of food last night or this morning. We're in the present. When you get into the self-centered fear, then it grips you. That's what it does. That's what diets do. Oh, I'm going to control it by self-will. No, we have to have a design for living, a perception change towards the food, a clarity, right? This is the change right here, right now you could have. If you start getting the clarity, and I go into a story about this, but the clarity with water and don't have, some of these drinks are enough calories we could have for a whole day to 1,300 calories. How about the apple, right? This is God's gift to us. This is totally, totally amazing. When you look at an apple, they say, meditate on a flower or listen to the sound of a gong, and that's the answer. When you look at this apple, the answer is here. What more do we need to know? It brings us into the present, being happy, joyous, and free. Forget about the past. It says on page 62, delusions, and all of these things in our thinking, selfishness, self-centeredness. Get out of the self already. And also, how about this one here? We got an orange, and we got an apple, right? And a banana, orange, and apple, right? In the water. There's God's gift. All my food is one ingredient. I don't need There's corporations. Am I going to be a slave to the corporations who just want to make money off of me? Do you realize we're 30 or 40 pounds heavier than we were a few years back because of the brainwashing on TV? It all, again, has to do with our brainwashing. We were brought up as children. We were told by our parents we had to be more successful, right? We had to do better at things, right? Our life had to be, we were brainwashed. Every thought we have, that's why the ego lies to us all day long. You want to be happy and free, just feel this source in here. Be like I talk about a child, a little child's very happy, or a puppy dog, the best day of its life is every day. But no, we use the intellect. Use the intellect if somebody puts a gun to your head and get fearful. But no, we're talking about resentment. Wait, somebody looks at us? How insane are we? It's crazy for other people to try to push our buttons and get us upset. But who's the insane one? We always say, oh, they're toxic people. How toxic are we when we feed into insanity? They say you try to figure out an insane person, become insane. But anyway,